Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense and welcome to day 7 of my First Impressions Blind Buy week. It has flown by really quickly. It's hard to believe we're on day 7. Now a typical week is 7 days. I'm going to do an extra day, so it's actually going to be 8 days. So the 8th day is actually going to be kind of a combination of a review of a blind buy and a first impressions, and then we're going to go back and discuss the entire week selection. And I've had some viewer questions rather, like what was my criteria in choosing what I chose, kind of encapsulated thoughts on everything in terms of the final resolution or thoughts on the dry down, to some other things that I want to include to kind of give you some closure on this First Impressions Blind Buy week. So today being our 7th day, what we're going to focus on is an Azzaro fragrance, and that is Azzaro Solarissimo Levanzo. You may have heard of this fragrance before. Azzaro Solarissimo is a collection of 3 fragrances, each inspired by 3 paradise-like islands to the west of Sicily, and each of the fragrances are representative of a particular island and particular kind of evocative of what that island represents. So each of them are going to have their own themes, and today's theme, or today's island, is Levanzo. So we're going to check out what island this represents, what is represented by the fragrance, kind of discuss the presentation, the notes, and what it's like on skin, as well as a tester strip, just like we typically do with our first impressions, coming up next, so stay tuned. Guys, welcome back. Yes, today we are talking about Azzaro's Solarissimo. It is again a collection of 3 different fragrances representing particular beautiful islands west of Sicily, Italy. So they are Italian, just like the name implies. Solarissimo, solar, sun. So this one, Solarissimo Levanzo, is representative of the endless summer sun. The entire collection actually is representative of beautiful Mediterranean weather, because here in Tennessee, I don't know where you're at, but it's a beautiful sunny day, and it makes you think of just beautiful, endless, wonderful, evocative, positive, bright, sunny days, thoughts, memories, propositions, any adjective you want to use to describe a really positive outcome. So that's why we're taking a look at Solarissimo. It's going to be, I feel like, a feel-good fragrance, hopefully. Azzaro is a fragrance house that has brought many good fragrances to the table, and many so-so fragrances to the table, just like a lot of houses out there that are designer and not niche. Let's go ahead and wait no longer and bust into the cellophane and get this bad boy out. Now, this is an eau de toilette. Actually, let me take the cellophane off. Of course, one fell swoop, yay. On the top of the box is the A logo for Azzaro. On one side, you've got product information, nothing on the other side. On the front, you've got the green. Okay, this has got kind of a green theme, and on the very back, photo of the bottle and flacon itself. On the very bottom, of course, we've got the SKU and the barcode and the batch code, and I'll hold that still for a second. And that's pretty much the box. Let's get into it and get that bottle out. Typical box, not a big deal on the inside. The bottle is a tall square bottle, and it is a 75 ml or 2.5 fluid ounce bottle. Sorry about that, guys, if the view is skewed or changed a little bit. I got excited while taking this out of the box and I yanked on my mic cord, so you'll have that sometimes. All right, so getting the bottle out. The Levanzo bottle is inspired by awakening nature. Thus you have this luminous gradient, kind of a luminous green gradient. I really like green, being of course my favorite color. You already know that. Gradient starting darker at the top and getting lighter towards the bottom, kind of like a sunrise or a sunset. In this case, it's representative of a sunrise. It has a square stopper made of natural ash wood, and it is a beautiful wood grain. I'll show you the Azzaro that is actually etched into the top and some of that grain around the sides. Really pretty. I love ash. Furniture and things like that made of ash, so it's a perfect stopper. It's a very elegant, fresh, light creation, and it's meant to inspire to take flight. So that's the bottle and flacon itself. Now the stopper pulls right off. It does fit very snugly, very nicely. The bottle is relatively light, being 75 mils, so you can hold it up by the stopper. And let's go ahead and get into that juice. Levanzo is in the aromatic, woody, citrusy, fresh fragrance family. It has fresh and woody accords of Italian lemon, passion fruit, basil, and lavender essence, and essence of cedar and patchouli into the base. I like how Azzaro describes Levanzo as bringing together prime, raw, sunny ingredients. The lemon in Levanzo elevate it up to its top notes, and it's reminiscent of a bright, sunny Mediterranean day with impressions of dazzling light. Now, lemon actually originally came from the Far East. Lemon was introduced to Europe right around the end of the 12th century. Grown in Italy, the fruit is harvested before its season so that it keeps prior to its zest. So that when it's actually taken, it is cold pressed, and then through a centrifuge process, it pulls down the oils, the lemon oils, before its zest. So in essence, it's like it takes sunshine, the fruit, through photosynthesis and other means, takes that sunshine, which is essential for life. We distill it down into by a cold press centrifugal process, and distill it and put it in a bottle for the nose to enjoy. So in a way, it's like capturing sunshine, and that's why they use that term dazzling light, is reminiscent of that Mediterranean sun. The green, fresh, vegetal, and slightly spicy is from the basil leaf that is in this. Now, the basil leaf is there to kind of underscore Levanzo's masculinity. Basil originally came from Asia, and basil can reach anywhere from an average of 20 to 40 centimeters in height. Now, in perfumery, primarily it's sweet basil, which comes from India because of its pungent, sweet aroma, and it's primarily prized because of its large leaves. Now, unlike the cold press centrifugal process, they use like a steam process to pull down the best portions of the basil oil, and that's what's going to be found in Levanzo as well. And finally, in the base, cedar, the essential oil of a Virginian cedar. That's what gives the fragrance its woody, elegant, and intense signature. It's obtained by a distillation process and a similar steam distillation process where they take the sawdust and they distill it down to its basic essence. Now, the cedar is typically a 1,000-year-old wood, very old wood. Now, the cedar is considered an old wood. It's like a 1,000-year-old wood, and it's often been used as a symbol of immortality. Now, in ancient Egypt, they used cedar when they embalmed people of importance because of that. The oil was often used in temples and in traditional medicinal herbs that were made up to help people. All right, let's try it out on a tester strip. Thank you. Prime or pump. 1, 2, 3, 4 for good measure. That's a good bit. Wow. A lot of fragrances are galvanizing, and they immediately create two schools. One that's yay and one that's nay. And I'm definitely on the yay side of this so far. Oh my goodness. Okay. So what Azzaro is doing right, and those descriptions, I know it sounds over the top, but honestly, they're very, very apt, very appropriate. Those descriptions are perfect for the essence that is Levanzo. The basil and the cedar are the first thing that your nose is going to pick up on. No. The basil and the cedar and the lemon are the aggressors, the alpha notes in the top, mid, and base. So the top, you got lemon, the basils in the mid there, and then of course your base with cedar. And those are the primary notes that your nose pulls immediately when you smell this. It is extremely pleasant off the tester strip. However, that top dries down really quickly. And since there are no oils to mix with on a tester strip, you can't really get much personality more past the open. However, the open is extremely pleasant. I love that open. Love that open. So let's try it out on skin, let it mix with the oils of my skin, and we'll see what the mid and the base do, the dry down. So I don't, of course, in anticipation of spraying this on me, I don't have anything else on. I'm gonna pull this up far enough to where I can actually put it in the crooks of my arm here. 2 in each crook, 2 in each reverse elbow, we'll call it. The stopper back on this. As you can see, it is a perfectly square, I would say perfectly square bottle, and it's very nice. It sits on the shelf very nice, I would believe. And I really like that gradation from the green into the clear at the bottom. So we're gonna let that dry down for just a moment, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. While I'm waiting on that to dry down, I will mention I'm going to leave, of course, as I've been doing every day, links in the base for Fragrance X and perfume.com, and a lot of people have been complaining that fragrance.net has taken away the GRPW37, the Group 37, which is the 37% discount, but it's still accessible through Google, so you're not going to be really missing out. You still can select whichever discounter that you want to use to purchase this, but the price rate is amazing. So far, the way that I'm feeling about the Open, the way that I'm catching a whiff of it on my skin, I would term this a hidden gem. Okay, if you've not already heard about Solarissimo Levanzo, it is definitely a hidden gem, and especially at that price, you're going to be able to pick this up for right at 20 or just under 20 bucks. That is fantastic for a nice spring and summer fragrance that is also a feel-good fragrance. Again, it's like sunshine in a bottle or Mediterranean sun in a bottle. You've got the lemon, the basil, the cedar, all of those primary notes bringing the fragrance to its core, which is, to me, a very energetic, bright, and sunny and positive. Like, there's several kinds of sunny fragrances, sunny, energetic, bright, but positive. This has somehow engaged the positive side of my brain for some reason. So when you smell this, it's just going to be a feel-good, bright thinking, bright side kind of fragrance. So, all right, let's take a couple more sniffs of that. Let's take a couple more whiffs of the dry down. Now that I've given it time to dry down. Oh wow. Okay. So, being that lemon is such a bright, high register fragrance, it's hard to maintain that lemon. And honestly, lemon isn't meant to last forever. So it does last a little bit into the dry down. You still get a little bit of that lemon mixing in with the basil and cedar, but primarily what you're getting is a combination of the duo of basil and cedar coming together. Basil providing a little bit of pungency and cedar providing that woody familiarity. And when you mix the two, it is a very, very pleasant fragrance. So on skin, mixing with the oils of the skin, it lifts off of the skin a lot better than it does the tester strip. Wow, and I really like that slight pungency that makes this, that's actually what's going to cause this to project off your skin, and it's also going to add to that longevity of this fragrance. So again, with the first impressions, can't really speak at length about the longevity and about the projection. However, this is projecting off my skin with about a good 1.5 to 2 feet. And I would say this is going to last pretty good, especially with that lemon, that zesty lemon, the basil that makes it lift off the skin, and then that cedar that just grounds it really well. So I would say you're probably looking at an average to slightly above average in longevity and about average in projection. So that is the terms that qualify for a hidden gem. And primarily, of course, number one being the price. And again, coming in at 20 bucks or under 20 bucks for a 75 ml bottle, this is definitely something that I would highly recommend adding to your spring and summer rotation, because I definitely am going to add it to mine. Well, that's it, guys, in a nutshell. Actually, there's no nutshell. In a cedar shell, in a basil shell, in a lemon peel. That's it for my discussion today of Azzaro Solarissimo. Now, the other Solarissimo fragrances, there's a Solarissimo, Maritimo, and Solarissimo Favignana. And I'm probably slaughtering those names because I'm not Italian at all, and I apologize for that. Versatility is going to be daytime casual wear, perfect for office wear, home wear, traveling around, running errands. I wouldn't necessarily use this as a date fragrance. If you want to present yourself as just an all-around average guy, fresh out of the shower kind of date. In other words, if it's a casual date, not necessarily a seductive kind of date, and maybe a first date, this would be appropriate for that. But otherwise, an all-around general knock-around kind of fragrance. So, and especially with our hashtag stay home kind of vibe and intentions lately because of the pandemic, this will be something I would definitely use to make yourself feel good at home. A couple of sprays of this, sit back, Netflix and chill, smell it on yourself, projecting off your skin for a couple of hours, puts you in the right, bright mindset. All right, guys, that's it for me for day 7. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your time today. And as always, thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you in the morning. guys, and welcome again to day 7 of my blind buy first impressions supplemental behind the scenes footage. I really don't have a good name for this. I'm using all kinds of names that aren't really necessarily appropriate. So if you can come up with a good name, please leave it in the comments and I'll definitely use it, and I appreciate that. Because it's not really behind the scenes, it's just like, I guess supplemental information is probably the best. Just some additional thoughts that I thought of, maybe afterthought, or after video, or afterthought video, after video thoughts, something like that. Things that I forgot to mention or wanted to include, but for whatever reason didn't. Now, some additional thoughts about Azzaro Solarissimo Levanzo is that right now you can get Levanzo and Maritimo in the US. Favignana is not available in the US yet. The shipping, if you want to get it here in the US, the shipping is going to meet or exceed the actual fragrance cost itself, because in all likelihood it's coming direct distribution from Spain, and that's okay. It's going to be a little while maybe before we actually see it on discounter sites, and at which point in time I will definitely try to get a hold of it for you. Now, there may be a few eBay sites out there, just be careful. I'm skeptical about certain eBay sites that I've not used before. If I don't see something wholesale across the board at different sellers on eBay, but just occasionally, be careful of those. It's easy to get ripped off on eBay and those sites. Other than that, that's it. I don't really have a lot of supplemental information other than the fact that I do want to do some kind of giveaway. I was thinking of a video game, maybe like an Xbox game or a PlayStation 4 game, especially seeing as we're, kind of in lockdown right now. I just bought this for myself, Resident Evil 3, and I was actually thinking of doing a giveaway for this game, or for a bottle of fragrance. So if you guys have a preference, whether you would like to get a fragrance or a game or both, I was thinking of maybe doing like a contest as to what would Jill Valentine like to smell on her guy? What would she like in terms of masculine fragrance to smell, while she's avoiding dying on her man. So something like that. But again, if you have a preference in terms of fragrance or game or console, whether Xbox or PS4 or both, please leave your comments below, and I would appreciate your feedback on that. So other than that, that's pretty much it. Oh, one other thing I did want to say, I'm also, my hair is getting completely out of control. So yes, my hair is getting out of control. I went to a couple of different places, couldn't find anything. Finally went to Walmart. The shelves are clean. I guess everybody's doing the stay-home DIY thing in terms of cutting their own hair. So I went ahead and got this guy. Now, the head of this little Mini Pro is pretty tiny. I would say that is an inch, a single inch across. So it's going to take me twice as long to cut my hair with this as it would just the standard. But I do like Wall as a brand, and this was relatively inexpensive. I think it was like 16 bucks with tax, 17. And I'm going to make a video on how to cut your hair as a DIY grooming tip for Studio Sense. So look for that to come out in the next couple of days. It won't be my first time. I used to cut my own hair, so I do have a little bit of experience with it, but I have some easy ways in terms of setup to show you guys, if you're interested in doing it yourself, how to do it with no help from a spouse, roommate, or anyone who happens to walk by who you want to get the back of your head. You can actually do it yourself. So I'm gonna show that to you. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, that's it. Thanks for staying tuned. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch. Trust me, your time is important to me, so I want to give you the best content possible. So as always, like, subscribe, comment, stay safe, stay tuned, be good, and I'll see you in the next video.